is a powerful person. She's like right there, but she doesn't even know it.
Welcome to Coach Grid. We're mixing it up today. We decided that we wanted to invite somebody else in to join us. April Hiatt, welcome. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
April is the owner and founder of Wise Women Masterminds. And I guess to start, introduce Wise Women Masterminds. What is Wise Women Masterminds?
It really is a true peer-to-peer mastermind group with not me in charge. I mean, I facilitate, but I'm not the smartest person in the room every time. I love to fill rooms with lots of other really smart people and let them teach each other. And so it really is the idea of we all know something in our own area of expertise, and let's share that knowledge with other people. And as we can talk about stuff and verbalize stuff, especially women, we like to talk. It's kind of a thing. And a lot of us verbally process, and we need a place to do that that isn't necessarily our spouse or our best friend, who sometimes in being supportive will, like my husband, for example, he'd be like, oh, that is such a good idea. You should totally do that. Everything I say is a great idea. And that is awesome. Like, I love that about him. But sometimes I'm thinking, could you tell me it's not a good idea? Like, maybe ask me a few questions about it and stuff like that. So that's what Wise Women is. It's a place for women to get together to talk about their business and really ask the questions and get vulnerable and say, hey, this isn't working and I need to figure out why. Or I have this really good idea. Could somebody just let me talk for a second, and then you can ask me questions about, what I'm thinking or what I'm missing. And it's that space.
Beautiful. Thank you. I think that's really succinct and obviously a very valuable space. Seeing the way that that's growing, there's clearly an immense need and desire for that. I assume that you had been, before you started Wise Women, to other events and to other networking spaces. What motivated you to start your own, being aware that there were other things out there?
So there are a lot of other amazing things out there, and they all serve a different purpose. So I attend lots of networking events. I attend a lot of conferences, and I love all of them for what they are. But most of them are centered around either, like, for example, networking is centered around networking. You go, you talk to people, you meet people, but sometimes that's hard for people. Sometimes the person that's the introvert has a hard time just getting out of the car and walking in the door. And not every networking event is the same. They're all a little bit different. But sometimes it's just hard to show up and be in that room when you're like, well, I don't know these people. Like, that's hard. Conferences are awesome too, but often they are just somebody speaking on the stage. And I don't mean just somebody. Usually they have a fantastic speaker and you're learning lots of really good things. And those are awesome too. I attend a lot of those and I participate in those. But I wanted something a little bit different than that was more than networking, but wasn't a conference and was a small enough space that women felt comfortable in asking the real questions that they had. Because, I'll be honest, I go to networking events and I'm always going to put on my best face. I'm not going to meet you for the first time and say, Joe, Kirsten, this is really what's happening in my business. Could you just talk to me about this? I'm not going to be that vulnerable because I'm promoting my business and who I am. And so I wanted a space where I could be vulnerable and get the feedback and help that I needed and support from other women without feeling like they were going to judge me or that I had to put on a front.
I think for everyone, men and women,
right?
That desire, it reminds me of anybody that's ever been on a first date.
Yes.
You tend to lead with, your A game.
Exactly.
And that makes a lot of sense. How have you built that safe space where people do feel safe to say the vulnerable thing, to say the real thing, rather than feeling like they have to pretend and put up a front that's not the reality of what they're experiencing?
Yeah. And that's actually a really good question because it is hard to do that in the beginning. Honestly, it takes a little bit of time and it takes getting to know the women in the room. So the mastermind groups are small. They're only about 8 people, 9 people together in a group. And the first couple of weeks are a little bit hard because we all still have a little bit of that barrier. Like most of us, like you said, a first date, we're not going to open up. But usually after the first couple of times that we meet, then one person will just open up, and then it just feels safe now, and everybody will do it. And I do my very best to get to know the women in the room kind of before they're together in a group. Usually I do know them, or I get on their social media and I stalk them everywhere. But I meet with them. I do what I can. And I will try to honestly, strategically put somebody in a hot seat in the beginning that I know is more willing to open up. And then that helps. And then I also set up, like, I just call them trio groups, where the women can, outside of our mastermind, get to know each other separately. And that helps too. So it really is creating an environment where the women can get to know each other well outside of the mastermind group even, so that when they're in that space, these are my friends. It's okay if if I'm vulnerable, if I open up, if I tell them what's going on in my business, because I've been talking to them and I trust them, and there's a trust level, and that makes all the difference.
Yeah, I think I've experienced one of April's masterminds and her conference, which we'll get to that as well. And they are incredible. Like I didn't realize how much it was going to change my life, because you say that and you're like, oh, that sounds really cool. But it's not just really cool. Like when I got into the room, it did take a few weeks where at first I was, like on the first date and I was like, I'm going to be this person. And then over time, I felt my guard start to go down. And what I didn't expect was how much safety that created. And then how, when you feel safe, how creative you're able to be.
Yes.
And how much just came online, how much my intuition came online, how much safer I felt to take a risk, because I was like, oh, even if I fall completely flat, I've got 9 people that are going to be cheering me on, and I can come talk to them about it, and they can listen to me vent, and Joe doesn't have to listen to me vent about it because, he's maybe scared too. And yeah, it's been so cool to I've begun to trust myself so much more. And we made a big pivot through that process and realizing, I'm going to go for this. Yeah. And it was really because of that safety and the structure and the ways that you put us in different groupings and different skill sets. And it's incredible to experience.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, and a lot of it too, I think, is the support that you get, because sometimes we have big ideas and we want to do them, but all of us have that little bit of fear inside of us. Like it's almost clockwork. Right before a big thing, or right before a big pivot or a big jump, you're like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do it. Oh, just a second. Hang on. Maybe, I don't know. And then you get in your own head about it and you're like right there. But if you have 8 other people, that you can go to and say, I've got this idea. And then the biggest thing is they watch your face and they watch how excited you are about it. And they know you, and they can say, okay, Kirsten, that is a great idea. You should absolutely do that. And we are watching you light up, and we're watching your face as you're talking, and you're so excited about this. Go for it. Just do it. And we're here behind you all the way. Yeah. That is, I think, the biggest difference in helping women and men move forward.
It is. And now that you're saying that, actually, one of the biggest pivots, things that uncovered something that I wasn't looking at, is I came with a question, and the answers I got had nothing to do with the question, but I was like, whoa, these answers are amazing. And now I want to go figure out what I can do. Cause somebody said, I'm like, here's all this stuff. And they're like, you said one moment. I think it was maybe even you. There's this one moment, tell me more about that. And so I started talking about it, and it just opened this whole world that I had forgotten was inside of me. And so then it was really cool to be able to bring that back and build on that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's fun what other people can see in you that you don't see in yourself. And in a mastermind setting, they can hear it when you're speaking, and even just watch your face and your voice inflection. And sometimes as we verbally talk, I guess that's what you do when you talk verbally, right? Okay. When you're talking, you don't even realize you're getting excited about something until later, and somebody points it out to you and is like, Kirsten, yes, totally. You were so excited about that. And I think that's the real power of it.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. I love that. It sounds like obviously you went into this with the intention of solving a problem. I think most people, when they're starting a business, they have an idea of a problem they see or a need that they see in the years that you've been running this program and these masterminds, has the problem that you're wanting to solve, or kind of your primary intention and motivation, changed over time from what you were doing to what you do now?
I think it has a little bit, and I'll be totally honest. I started Wise Women for me. It was about other people's problems, but it really was, I need people in my life. Like, I need other women that I can talk to. I need friends. I'm an empty nester mom now. But at the time, when you're a mom and you have kids and you're at home, you're doing all the things. You have a social network. You're going to the wrestling meets. You're going to the dance competitions. You're doing all of that. When your kids move out and that is no longer in your life, at first you're like way excited. You're like, this is so great. But then after that, you're kind of like, oh, I need friends. I need people in my life. And there's kind of a difference between friends that you just hang out with, that you go hiking with or whatever, and then business friends that you can talk to about your business. And I realized that I needed some business friends. And so that was important to me. And as I looked around, I wanted something a little bit deeper than just the networking. So I thought, okay, anyway, so I created Wise Women. But in that, what I found is that so many other people need the same thing. And what's the most interesting to me that I hear the most often that surprised me, and I was shocked about this, but the thing that women say to me the most is they say, April, we need friends. Like, we really need business friends. And that isn't what I thought it was going to be about. I thought Wise Women, and it is, but I thought it's going to be about their business and growing their business and verbally processing and all the things, which they do, but they keep coming back because of the relationships that they build and the friends that they make. And I've had women say, April, I don't even know how I'm growing my business, and I don't know what my next step is, but I need these friends right here, so I'm coming back.
Wow. Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. As you've moved through that, again, talking to a lot of other entrepreneurs and solopreneurs and small business owners, we run across different obstacles in growing that. And I think there's a couple of different kinds of obstacles. There's more the logistical and the operational side, but there's also the personal side, personal development of starting a business.
Right.
And with you, we've seen you, as your business has grown, step into kind of a level of prominence and a lot of the spotlight being on you. What are some of the personal hurdles that you've had to overcome or work through to get to this level in your business that you're at right now?
I would say a couple of them. One, for me, just the visibility part of it in putting myself out there. I mean, I really did just have to get over myself. I was like, April, nobody else is looking at your hair. Nobody else really cares what you look like. Just that internal, like, I don't look perfect, or I don't, whatever, all of that. I had to get, through all of that. And then, okay, I totally forgot what my other thing was. Ask me the question again, because it was really cool.
Yeah, I think that's already a really important one. But talking about the obstacles, the challenges that you've had to step into the role that you're in right now.
You know what? The other big one for me then is actually seeing myself how other people see me in a good way, like as a leader and as somebody that inspires others. And then stepping into that and saying, you know what, I can be that person. Like, other people see me that way. I'm getting all choked up, but really stepping into that and saying, yes, I can be a leader. I know how to do this. And I don't have to be somebody else. I don't have to pretend at all. I can just be me, and that's good enough. And that's totally fine. And that's what a leader is. The traits that I have, the things that I do naturally is what is drawing people here. And I just need to own that and step into that and just go with it.
I've experienced a lot of that myself in different leadership roles, but it's really cool to hear you talking about that. I would imagine so many of the people that are in your masterminds and in these different events that you run have to face that themselves.
Oh, I'm sure. Yes.
How do you coach somebody into that or through that process? Because there's a part of that that's just kind of ripping off the Band-Aid and like, it has to happen. But if you're consulting with someone or teaching someone, What do you teach them to be able to do that?
A couple of things. One, the biggest thing is for me is to teach women to trust themselves. I am always going to support whatever your decision is. And I might give you feedback or suggestions or advice, but at the end of the day, I want you to make your decision on what feels good to you. And if that's completely different than what I said, awesome. Like, just own that, step into that, trust yourself the most. And no matter what everybody else is saying, just do that. And the more women are able to do that, the easier it gets. The first couple of times you start doing that, it's actually kind of hard. Like, it's really hard. But then after that, the more you're able to stand up for yourself and trust yourself and make those decisions, the easier that gets. The other thing that I really like to do, and I've just always done this, is I look for the good in people and for the things that maybe others don't see. I remember when I met Kirsten for the first time, she actually reminded me of my oldest daughter, actually, I have to say. But she came to a workshop mastermind that I was teaching. It was different than Wise Women. It was before that. And she kind of came in like she was shy and quiet. And I was like, oh, that is a powerful person. She's like right there, but she doesn't even know it. Like, all of us in the room could see this amazing woman, and she just couldn't see it yet. And then it was so fun because she stayed after. She helped me clean up the room, and I just got to talk to her, and I was like, I can just see something in you. Like, it's just there. It's coming out. And just pointing those things out to people, I think, makes all the difference. When somebody else can see their potential and see what's in them, they're like, oh, I really am that person. I can be that person. And telling them, like, that's the biggest thing. It's great to see amazing things in you, but if I don't tell you, it doesn't help you. Yeah. So building their confidence and then seeing those great things and telling them about it.
Yeah. And one thing that I will also say about April, because again, having watched you, is she does the most of her teaching through how she's living. And so she doesn't have to use as many words. And that is one of the biggest things that drew me to you, because I really look for that in people, right? That because of the way you live, when you just say, hey, you have this in you, it's a really quick jump to be able to say, oh, well, I see what's amazing in you. So now that you're helping me see what's amazing in me, I have a blueprint just by looking at you for how to hold myself, like put my shoulders back a little more and stand a little taller. And that truly just gives so much permission and creates safety that you're like, look, I did it. I'm alive. Yep. We're here. You're here. And you think I'm awesome. And it's cool, like, to be able to feel that permission without you having to say so much.
It's one of my favorite quotes, and it relates more to Christianity, but it's St. Francis of Assisi. And he says, preach the gospel at all times. When necessary, use words. And that, it sounds like that's exactly what you're saying about the way that April lives her life in giving you a kind of a subconscious permission to do the same.
Yeah.
Very cool.
100%.
I love that. There's a key word in this, and me being the male in this conversation, Wise Women Masterminds. In society right now, there's networking in general. And obviously I come from a background of men's work and working with men on healthy masculinity and some of that stuff. What motivated you specifically, rather than just creating a general mastermind group or a general networking group, to create one specific for women? You kind of alluded to it a little bit, but can you speak more about that?
Yeah, of course. Honestly, I've been to a lot of networking things, and honestly, some of it is a personal thing. I am very good. I can get into a room full of women and I can talk and I can do the things, and that's totally fine. But if I go into a room with a bunch of men, I will just like shrink back a little bit, and I don't talk very much. And I'm quiet, I'm shy, and people from the outside, that my introvert will come out. I'm just a completely different person when I'm in that setting. And I obviously I have things I need to work on, but I just feel intimidated by smart men in a room. And I literally, logically, I know I'm just as intelligent as the rest of these people. I'm just as accomplished as them. Like I can be in this room, but something inside me still shrinks a little bit at that. And so I wanted a space where women didn't have to feel that if they were feeling that. Lots of women don't feel that way. And I love that. That's totally awesome. I just know for me, I needed a space where I wasn't feeling intimidated and that I could just be me and be silly and, whatever. And that's really where it came from.
Okay. And I mean, it sounds like based on your growth and what's happening, that's true. The other people are experiencing that as well. I guess going forward, as you continue to grow as a mastermind, as an organization, there's lots of people that will eventually expand into men and women, or we're going to do a thing for young women, or we're going to do a thing for whatever it is.
Yeah.
Where do you want to go from here in Wise Women Masterminds? What's the 5 years from now? Does it look the same as it does now, or where do you want to take it?
As far as the women, men, whatever, I plan on keeping it all women. The Wise Women is actually an acronym, and the Wise stands for Women Inspiring Success and Excellence. So I can't really change that. It's built into the whole business. And then 5 years from now, where I see it is bigger, more nationally. So right now, all of my groups are online. And this year, the focus is adding in-person groups, because what I'm finding is during COVID, we all switched to online and we loved it and it was great. And then we're kind of in the phase of, okay, I've been behind my computer for 8 hours now, and we're wearing blue light glasses because we're looking at our screens for so long. And, all that, we're kind of getting that Zoom fatigue, and we're like, okay, now we need to get back to real connections with people. And so now I'm running both online and in-person groups, and they're fantastic. The in-person groups are really, really fun, and it's a completely different dynamic than it is online versus in person. And so the thing that I'm working on is a leadership certification program, so that I'm not the one running all the groups. I'm now training leaders to run them so that people can have them in their own areas. I've had lots of women say, April, can you bring this to Montana? Can you bring this to wherever? And I'm like, I can teach you how to do it there because I can't possibly do it all. But yes, we can do that. So 5 years from now, I see groups all over the US, and I see it growing, and just women continuing to support each other and being more confident in growing their businesses.
I think you've created such a cool dynamic. A lot of this is my feedback from Kirsten, because every time she goes to one of your things, she comes back just so impressed and lit up by what's been created. You've created a really cool experience where it feels small and simultaneously is huge.
Right.
There are hundreds and probably thousands of people that are part of this, but it still feels very intimate and very unique in that experience. So
Yes.
I commend you for that.
Oh, thank you.
One of the questions I like to ask people that have built really cool stuff is, if you could go back to you that was starting this and have this version of April talk to that version of April, what is something that you would tell her to maybe ease the path or to avoid some of the pain or the struggles, whatever those might have been over this building process?
I would tell myself to trust my ideas. In the beginning, I had a whole lot of ideas, and I would just jump and go do them and all the things. And then I paused and I stepped back and I went, well, maybe I need to just plan everything out and be strategic about every single possible thing. And I actually slowed myself down when I did that, because that's just not my personality. That's what you guys are for, to do all of that for me. But when I did that, my creativity and my ideas kind of stopped coming. And I got to the point that I stopped trusting myself a little bit. And then I felt like, well, now I have to have outside validation for every single thing that I want to do. And I went through a phase where I couldn't even make a decision without asking somebody else first. And then I kind of woke up one day, I don't know, and I was like, what am I doing? This is my business. I cannot live this way. And if I'm going to keep going and keep growing, I'm going to step into being that leader. And these are my ideas and it's my business and I'm going to do it my way. And I'll let somebody else do the strategic part of it for me because that's just not my area of expertise. So I would tell myself, trust yourself, trust your ideas, and the areas you're not good at, let somebody else do it. It's okay. I don't have to do every single piece. I think I held on to that so tightly for so long that I slowed myself down.
I think anybody that just heard that, that's a business owner, either really resonated with it and they're on the other side of it, or ideally feel really called out right now.
Sorry.
and invited forward, to take some of those steps, because I don't know if I've talked to a single business owner that hasn't had that conversation at some point with themselves.
Yeah.
So really, really cool. Moving into marketing, because another thing that you've done really, really well is growth. And I know a lot of small business owners, a lot of coaches are saying, all right, I want to get out there and I want to start doing the thing. And they kind of dip their toe in, well, I'm going to go to an event and start talking about it, or I'm going to go to, social media and do one post. What have you done with your marketing that's enabled you to be consistent the way that you've been and continue to grow at the rate that you've grown?
I think the single thing that has helped me the most, the consistency part, but consistency in a different way than people think. So a lot of times when you hear consistency, people think that means I have to post 24/7 and I have to make 500 graphics and post them all the time and be on social media all the time. And I just can't do that. I'm sorry, that's a lot. The consistency that I mean is when you get to know people, stay in their world. Like really build relationships and get to know people. If you go to a networking event, don't go just one time. Nobody's going to remember you. Go 12 times. Keep going to the same event. And you might be thinking, well, it's the same people in the room every single time. Yes, it's the same people in the room every time, and they're going to get to know you. And then what happens when they know you, they're going to be the ones that are tagging you in posts that you're not seeing because they know somebody. We, as people, I think naturally, and especially as business owners, we naturally want to help other people. And if we know somebody that can do something, even if we aren't personally using that service at the moment, life insurance, I already have policies, they're already in place. But if I know a guy that I met at networking who I think is amazing and sells life insurance and somebody is asking for that, I'm going to shout him out every single time. And so get to know people and let them build your business for you, but you have to get to know them. So the consistency is in meeting people and building those relationships and continuing to show up in their lives and not just at networking. Like if I find out that, Kirsten's dog passed away. I hope your dog did not pass away. But if it did, I'm going to reach out to, like, if she's posting about that, I'm going to reach out to her privately and say, oh, I'm so sorry. It's not going to be about business at all. It's just going to be a person to person thing. Like, I am so sorry that happened in your life. She's going to remember that way more than she's going to remember all the things I'm promoting all of the time. So it really is on how you make people feel. And then stay present with them, like stay in their world, and they will help you grow your business faster than you trying to do it online by yourself.
Yeah. I'll add to that. Something else that April does really well is and it's a belief, I think, but she really genuinely wants everybody around her to win, like actually. And I think that is not so common in the business world. Even if people say it, like deep down, they're kind of like, I want you to win, but as long as I win a little bit more, you know? And when I first heard you say that, I was like, oh, that's nice. But watching you over years, it's only gotten deeper how much you would love to see somebody surpass you. And you'd be like, yeah, keep going. And you'd be like pulling the people in, and you genuinely want that. And I think when you are reaching out, you're the most consistent person I've ever met with. You'll pop in all the time with ideas or what are you doing in your business? Let's explore this a little bit, even before I ever joined anything you've done. So, and I think that comes from the reason it's so powerful and you are able to do it so consistently is because you genuinely want that. And I don't know if that something that you've developed, or is that just a gift that you kind of have?
I think it's just me. Like it's just part of my personality, and that nurturing part of me. And just, I like to see the positive things in people and see their good side. I just am always going to assume the best in every single person.
Yeah.
And that's just my nature.
Yeah. It's powerful.
I would imagine there are times that you've been burned.
Absolutely.
You've been hurt in doing that. What allows you to keep showing up that way? Keep seeing the best in people, even when people let you down?
Yes, I absolutely have been burned. But usually you have to look at it as a whole thing. Just because one person does that doesn't mean that everybody is like that. And what's really interesting to me too is when I look back after time, first I get upset and then I'm sad and I cry and I, do all the things. And then, it takes a few months or whatever. But after time, typically when I look back at the situation, I can genuinely see that most of the time they really weren't trying to hurt me. They just did or, whatever. But I can see their point of view. I can look back and go, actually, I understand why they did that. I don't agree with it, but I understand it. And that helps a little bit.
One of the things that brought us together was our opportunity now to work together. And part of what we do as Coach Grid is with technical and software and back-end support, we also do custom app development.
Yep.
And I know, recently you and Kirsten entered into a conversation and we've moved into that place where we're in the process of building that right now for you.
Yes.
What
It's gonna be awesome.
What kind of started to point to you that you wanted the logistical and operational support on that side to even kind of get into that conversation? Was that something that you went into intentionally, or was it more of like a happy accident in the conversation?
It was actually a happy accident, but it was things that led up to it. So I was starting to just get overwhelmed in all of the back end stuff I was trying to do. I love doing the front end of my business. I love attending the networking. I love going to conferences. I love doing the masterminds. I love teaching. I've got a degree in education. Like, I love all of that part. I can do all of the other things. I can write the emails. I can set up the systems. I can do all of those things, but I don't like it. But then in the beginning, it was okay for me to be doing everything. And then it got to the point that I was like, I can't do everything. I literally cannot do it all. And it just started building. And then it was interesting because a little while ago, I woke up and I was like, I am the bottleneck in my own business. I cannot keep growing because I've literally maxed out on my time. I can't do more of this. I can't do more of this. I just literally cannot do anything else. So in the midst of all of that, I was at a networking event, interestingly enough. And I know Kirsten, I've known her for a while now. And we were talking and I was telling her about this idea that I have in growing the leaders and everything else. Cause part of growing is I can't run all the groups either. And I was like, and so I'm doing what I normally do in my masterminds. And I'm telling Kirsten about my idea, her and another person. And I was like, can I just run this past you guys? Like, what do you think? And so they're telling me this, or I'm telling them. And the funnest part is watching Kirsten's face because you can see the system brain like start turning. And so I'm telling them my idea and this whole thing. And Kirsten's like, oh, that is so great. But what if you did this? And what if you did this? And you could do this. And I was like, oh, that is actually brilliant. I can't do that, but that sounds amazing. She's like, well, I can do it. I'm like, yes, you can do it. You're right. You can. And then she's like, well, what about an app? And I'm like, oh my gosh, you just solved every problem I was having like in the background. I'm like, so then we start talking and I say, well, can it do this? And I want to do this. And I know that you can automate these things, but I don't know how to do that. She's like, I do. I can do that. And every idea I had, Kirsten went, yes, I can do that. And yes, we can do that. And I just went, okay, now I have an extra 20 hours a week to grow my business because Kirsten just solved every single thing that I needed solved. So yes, it was awesome.
That was awesome for me too. It's so fun because it's so fun for me because I'm just waiting for something to untangle. I'm like, I want a pile of necklaces that won't even budge. Like that is where I have so much fun and get so much satisfaction untangling. So as I'm hearing you, I was trying so hard to let you talk, but I was like, I have so many ideas, and I was so excited that you wanted to run with it because it's been incredible. And the cool thing, and you are the like best example of this, is I told you, I was like, every time you have a thought, voice memo me, tell me, like brain dump. And it's so fun because you do. And some people are like, okay, and they feel bad or they don't want to. And because you've been doing that, like you have the coolest app I've ever built.
Oh, it's so exciting.
Because I'm like, it's like so many people think, oh, if I have this idea, it's so complex. But when you're able to create a brain that does everything, it's not always that complex. And so most of your ideas, I'm like, yeah, that's a 5-minute ad and we can 100% do it within the scope that we agreed on. So
yeah.
It's been so good.
The funnest part is so Kirsten says I can do this. So I totally take her up on it. So in the mornings, I'm like, I just got out of the shower and I have this really good idea. I'm sending her this voice message. I'm like, oh, Kirsten, I'm getting out of the shower every morning. I'm sending Kirsten a message. And I must tell her that that's where I am and that's what I'm doing. So here we go.
I think that's so important though. Just the awareness of that, because I've talked to hundreds of business owners who have those thoughts, and what they're doing instead is saying either, well, now I can't grow. Like, here's a stopping point. Like you were saying, I'm the bottleneck in my own business.
Right.
Or I have to go find something that will maybe kind of sort of solve that problem.
Right.
And so rather than doing that, you can literally custom build the exact thing that's needed for your business to be what you want it to be.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And the time and brain saving of me not having to figure out how to solve it, me just saying, this is what I want to do. And then even last week when we met online and you guys were going over that and the app and some of the different stuff. And then Joe, you had an idea and I was like, oh my gosh, you just solved a problem I've been thinking about for 3 days. How did you know that was in my head? It's now solved. You guys are just going to do it. And I didn't even have to verbalize it. It was great.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that. Kirsten, any last kind of insights from you on the app building experience, specifically with April on something that you're passionate about? Like, obviously, all the different clients that we meet with, we get excited about their business and supporting them. But I know you have a particular affinity for April and for what she's built. What's been your experience in building the app and the way that you've gone about that?
It has been one of my favorites because of I know April. We've had such a cool journey. I've watched her step into so much more since I met you, and you've helped me to step into so much of who I am. And so really my process has been very heart driven, and it's just been pure creation. The analytics side of me is always online, so that's always going to come through. But it's been really cool because with yours, it really is like I get a voice memo from you, and I'm like, oh, I get to talk to April today. Yes, and so my process has been exactly what your business is. It's been connection. It's been tapping deeper into myself, and I have even more self-trust on the other side of building this with you because it really has been a with.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that's kind of been my experience with April in particular in building something for you.
So there's the term vibe coding. I think this is heart coding, right? Like this is love and connection coding. I love that. That's
awesome.
I will say I have background. I don't know if a lot of people know this because I've been out of it, but I have background. I actually was a software developer at like a big company doing really complicated stuff. So that makes it really able to go offline, and truly just come from the heart because all the important stuff is just locked in muscle memory.
Right.
So
beautiful.
It really does allow for heart coding.
That's
all right.
word.
So what is the thing about building a business? What is the thing about building an organization and building what you've built that people don't talk about? Like the people don't know that's more behind the scenes, or maybe they feel like they need to put up the front about it. What's something that comes to mind for you about the thing that people aren't talking about that maybe they should be?
Biggest thing that comes to mind for me are the emotions. You saw it even here. The ups and downs, that internal struggle. And I think I'm a fairly confident person, But there are moments that I'm like, oh my gosh, nobody told me this was going to be so hard, or just the ups and downs of all of it in the background that I don't show everybody, of course. And some of it is personal to me. This business is personal to me, and it really is a part of me. And so if something doesn't work or doesn't go well, it's like I broke my arm or something. There's just, all of that. And so for me, it's the emotion behind it. And it's that up and down emotions that just go with running a business, any business. That's the part that people don't see.
Yeah. And it sounds like a really good way to process and deal with those is by finding a really solid mastermind.
Right.
Where you have friends and people that are able to support you on that.
Yes. In fact, it's so interesting because the group that I have actually right before coming in here, it's an online group, but the last couple of weeks in a row, the women have broken down in tears, but it's a safe space to do it. It is the space where you're like, okay, I am having an emotion right now and I'm just going to share it.
Beautiful. Last thing, favorite experience, favorite kind of story in building this. Curious what yours has been, and you can keep it as vague to maintain confidentiality or any of that, because I know there are a lot of those things, but money and profit isn't the thing that keeps us going in business, right? There's those experiences, those moments that like, yes, I'm doing the right thing. I'm where I'm supposed to be. Is there one that comes to mind for you of what you've been able to experience?
Yeah, there's two actually.
Please, yeah.
One does involve money, and then one is emotional. So there we go. The money one that I think is just so fun. So there was a lady that came to the last conference that I had, and she was just she actually works full time. She has a full time job, and then she has a little side business. That she says is a side business, but it's now not really a side business. But she thought it was at the time. And she was like, it's just a little side thing that I'm trying to get going. Okay, she is literally a food influencer. She has 2.5 million followers. She really is a food influencer. She gets invited to all of the opening events for restaurants and all of the things. So we're at the conference, and she's mentioning this little side business that she calls it. She does AI and all the cool things you can do. She teaches it, all the things. And she's like, well, and so somebody had said to her, why don't you create a YouTube channel with that? And she's like, why would I make a YouTube channel with that? And the person said, you could make a lot of money with YouTube. She's like, no, I don't have any followers. Like, it takes a long time to grow a YouTube channel and all the things. And the person said, did you not just say you have 2.5 million followers and they're on Google reviews is where all of her food reviews are. And she said, well, yeah, but that has nothing to do with YouTube. And they said, the other person said, yes, it does. YouTube owns Google or Google owns YouTube, like one of the two. So really all you have to do is put out a video on YouTube. I'll teach you how to do that. And then you connect your Google followers. And then anytime you post your food review on Google, you just mentioned your YouTube channel and people will come over there. So she did that. The very first time, she had over 100,000 views on her very first video. She crashed her own YouTube channel, and then YouTube contacted her and went, let us help you a little bit with that. We're going to help you set this up. So she literally had like a YouTube person designated to help her get it all set up, get the affiliate set up. So then her next video she put out there, she made $3,000 in her first day. And I was like, what? I am in the wrong business. But literally it came from just a comment. She didn't know what she didn't know. Yeah. And somebody else just said to her, let me just help you with this. It's not complicated. Let me show you. Like 20 minutes, showed her how to do it. And anyway, and now it's amazing.
Wow.
And I won't say what a YouTube channel is yet on here, but, and then the other one is a little bit different than that is there's a gal that was actually in I was going to say this, I'll say this morning, that was in one of the online mastermind groups. And when she first came in, she had a business, but she didn't love it. And she was really, really burnt out on this business. And she was burnt out so much that she actually left the country, like for months over the summer. She's like, I just can't. I just need to get away and I need to whatever. But she came to the master. She kept coming, even though she was, gone or whatever. She's like, I need this space. I'm going to keep coming. And then she had an idea while she was gone. And then she just kind of marinated a little bit. And then she brought it up in our group. And then she just kind of started like just growing it a little bit at a time, where to the point that she's kind of given up her other business. And now she's doing this other one. Like it's her thing. She's doing it full time. And even just this morning, she's like, oh, I love this new business so much. But we got to watch that transformation from her going from, yes, I'm good at this and running this business to, oh, I just love my business now and I love what I do. And a lot of that was the support of the women watching her as she spoke about her business and just point out, this is where your passion is. If you'll just do that, people are going to follow you. And that's exactly what happened. And yeah, it's been awesome to watch.
Thank you for sharing those. So Kirsten, I have a question for you before we finish. One of the things we talk a lot with clients is identifying like their unique value proposition. Mm-hmm. And having heard a lot of your testimonials about the Wise Women Masterminds experience, love to hear about the conference experience that you've had, because we didn't really touch too much on that. And then what do you feel like is, if somebody's watching this and considering joining a mastermind, or, they're resonating with some of this, what has been the uniquely valuable experience for you?
Man, that's a big question. That's like an episode. Holy cow. Okay. I will do my best to be concise. It's not really a conference. It's like a portal. Like you walk in and there's a moment that everybody's walking around, and it's like, it's a conference at that point. And then there's this point where April gets everybody in a circle and it's like, okay, this is now no longer a conference. And that maybe sounds, it's really powerful, but she has a really cool ability to know how to connect people really fast, just enough that they're willing to start building a real connection. So she can facilitate like a pseudo connection, and so that people are like, oh, okay. And then humans naturally want to connect. So she gets you out of your own way, everybody out of their own way. And then after that, all of a sudden you're just home. And so then you have days of that, like whole days, and you're in groups and you're mixing up. And every time you're mixing, it's like, you're so sad because you're leaving these people that all of a sudden you just have like gone to war with and come out like victorious. But then you're also like, wait, there's another group. And you just do this over and over. And then all of a sudden you've met dozens of people and you know them, you really know them. And your business is completely different. You probably have clients. I've never met somebody that I've like talked to about their experience at April's conferences that they don't have a client, whether it's somebody they met at the conference or somebody at the conference is like, oh, I have 50 people over here that I didn't know what to do with them. And now I'm sending them. It's like this massive trade space, and it's products, but it's also ideas, and it's also trust. And it's hard to convey the uniqueness without experiencing it. But what is unique is that it's like a retreat. It's in-depth business training. It's sisterhood. It's spiritual. You come out with, whether you believe in God or you don't, you feel resolved in what you believe and who you are, and you're safe to bring all of that to it. It's everything. And I would love to hear from your side kind of a little bit more about it. And then you have one coming up. So this is exciting.
Ew.
So maybe moving into that too, where people can find you, anything you have opening, all that kind of stuff. I'd love to hear from your side.
Yeah. Oh, I love to talk about this. So there we go. Yeah. One of the things that I try to do at the Wise Women Conference is make it an experience. Like you said it exactly. And I want to make it safe and comfortable for those that have a hard time walking into a room. Because I recognize that it is not easy sometimes to get out of the car and actually walk into the building. You're all excited, you get there, and then you're like, oh, this is scary. I don't know anybody and whatever. So I want to normalize that. And then I want to create experiences where it's okay to feel a little bit nervous, but then I'm just going to help you out when you get there. So I'm going to assign where you're going to sit, because our natural tendency is we walk in a room, we look around and we're like, oh my gosh. And then we do one of two things. We look around for people that we know and then we go conglomerate over there, or we don't know anybody. So we go sit in the seat at the far corner and hope that nobody sees us. And then we get out our phone because we don't know what else to do. And it's just awkward. So I've been in all of those awkward situations, and I'm just going to do everything in my power to make it not awkward. So there's somebody greeting you at the door when you walk in. There's somebody showing you where I have an open swag table, because I also think, let's promote the women in the room. Let them promote their business. I don't need to hand you a swag bag full of stuff from Target or, somewhere else. You already know about them. Let's meet all these amazing women in their businesses right here. So we have an open swag table. Everybody gets to promote their business.
And it's amazing.
It is amazing.
It's not like, oh, here's a little, it's like half my favorite things came from that swag table for free. And I still use them because I'm like, this is so cool.
Yeah, people are pretty. I'm always amazed at what people bring.
Yeah.
And somebody's greeting you at the door. They're showing you the table. They're showing you where to sit, like which table you're at. You're at a table probably with people you don't know, but everybody at the table doesn't know anybody. Somebody has sponsored that table. So instead of vendor booths, I have the sponsors actually sponsor a table. And we have sponsored training before they come in. I'm like, it is your responsibility to make sure everybody is greeted at your table. They all feel comfortable at your table. And when it comes time for us to break for lunch, you make sure everybody at your table has an invitation, whether it's from you or from somebody else. Everybody's going to feel welcome and included here. And that is a huge, huge value for me. Yeah. And then I really want you to meet the women in the room. I want you to learn. I do have workshops and breakout rooms, and I want you to learn from experts, but I really want you to meet the people in the room. I've been to a lot of conferences and I go home and I think, who did I meet? Maybe the person sitting next to me, if I was lucky. But sometimes we go home and we got great information from the speakers, but for me, part of attending a conference is meeting some people in the room too. Like, I'll be honest, that's why I go, is to learn and also to network. It's a big thing. So let's facilitate that networking and give people that opportunity. And then, so I create ways to get to know the women at your table. You're going to mastermind together. That's the whole point. We're Wise Women Masterminds. Bring a question. Let's talk it out. Let's learn things from other people. And I truly believe also that those in the room have something to offer. Let's learn from them. We're all business owners. Let's get that information too. And so I am all about meeting the people and doing things differently. If I went to a conference and I saw something I didn't like, I was like, I'm not doing that. We're doing it my way. So that's how I built it, honestly.
So having been to a lot of events, that is next level, like sponsorship training. That's amazing and very, very unique. Right. So I'm sure the rest of the conference, from what you're saying, follows just that level of dedication and focus. So thank you for sharing some of that. April Hiatt, thank you for being here and for all of this. We will obviously put in show notes, ways to find you, ways to find Wise Women Masterminds, and specifically this conference coming up. So again, thank you so much for being here, and we're really excited and grateful to be building with you going forward.
Yeah, I'm really excited to be working with you guys. I do want to add one plug for you guys.
Please.
One, you're amazing to work with. So I absolutely love that. And the other thing that was a happy surprise, when I was talking to Kirsten about the app and the possibility of an app, in the back of my mind, I was like, can I afford this? I don't know if I'm going to be able to afford this. And then when she quoted me, I was like, that's it. I can totally do that. Yes, I'm in. I didn't even have to think about it because it was so much more affordable than I thought it was going to be. And then everything I'm getting with it saves me so much time and money. I'm like, oh my gosh, I've already made back like what I put into it. Like, it has been the best investment I could have ever made.
Beautiful. Well, thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
And for those of you that are hearing that, that are interested in doing the same, you can find us at coachgrid.com or go follow us on Instagram at coachgrid.
Yeah. And April, do you want to shout out what are your socials and where can people find you?
Oh, yes.
Verbally.
Absolutely. So I'm on Facebook. Honestly, my personal page is probably the best place to find me. It's just April Hiatt, or it's actually April D. Hiatt. But if you put April Hiatt, I'll show up. You'll see me in purple, probably. It's kind of a thing. I do have a Facebook group. It's called Wise Women Masterminds. And it's a really active group. We're going to switch some of it over to our app. So then we're going to have an app. But find me on social media, and then we'll switch you over to the app. And then I'm on Instagram, Wise Women Masterminds, and the website, wisewomenmasterminds.com, the conference, wisewomenconference.com. You can Google it. I show up. Good.
Awesome. Wonderful. Well, again, thank you for watching. Hopefully this has been as edifying and inspiring for you as it has been for us. And we'll see you on the next episode.